Are we connected? Okay, John and I are just talking about whether we're connected or not, so I do hope that you're joining us. I've solved my problem with my internet provider. I'm getting a brand new hub tomorrow, so hopefully we are going to be buzzing. Anyhow, John is giving me the thumbs up to tell me that we've got a good signal, even though he was a little bit worried just before we started. So thank you for joining me tonight on this lovely wet bank holiday weekend. I know some of you are at home with the children, some of you are away on holiday and have been kind enough to say that you're going to log on and watch us this evening. So please give me a nice like or a love or a wave or whatever. It's always nice to know how many people are watching. So tonight it's just me, nobody else, and I just thought I'd go through some of the nifty nozzle things with you. So if we've got any newbies join us tonight, please shout out newbie, and I'm just going to go through how to cut your piping bag, the nozzles, not all the nozzles, a few nozzles, and how to decorate a giant cupcake. Jackie was here a couple of weeks ago and she did one with the 1M Wilton Tip, but I'm actually going to do a big one with all the nozzles. So first of all, let's do some buttercream, shall we? So last week I showed you all the cling film method and you seem to have gone crazy with it, which is fantastic. Personally, I prefer to hold a bag. Maybe it's because I'm just lazy. I like to hold a bag, put it all in, which I'll show you that way again in a minute. But let's go over the cling film method, okay? So if John just wants to bob over here. Yeah. So John, have we got many people joining us so far?
We do. We have got 68 people so far.
Okay.
Quite a few regulars.
Okay, just another update. There's no Caroline tonight, she's on holiday, and there's no Laura. Laura's on holiday as well. So I really do need all of you to pay attention, and if anyone asks any questions, as you know, I can't see the comments. Both John and I wear glasses, so we have to take them off when we're filming, and I could do with you helping each other out for me. So if you see someone shout out a question and one of you knows the answer, please shout out for me. It will really be a massive big help. So first of all...
First question we've got, what's your buttercream recipe?
Right, okay then, so I'm glad you've asked about that. I've actually pinned tonight's post to the top of the page. And on there, I've actually said what we're going to do tonight. There's a link there to the buttercream recipe, how to look after your nozzles, some of the things that we're selling, and the recipe for the sponge mix that I've done as well. It's just a simple Victoria sponge mix. As you know, I'm a hobby baker. I'm not big into baking. Everything has to be simple and easy for me. So I just go the Victoria sponge route all the time. So that's already at the top of the page. I've just pinned it for you a couple of minutes ago. So when we finish, pop back over and have a look. So let's just see what we're doing here so far. So I'm just going to show you. Now I know lots of you regular people who watch will probably, most of you are very good when I'm repeating things. Occasionally we do get somebody saying I don't need somebody to show me how to fill a piping bag or how to put a nozzle in a bag. But you know what? That's what we're going to do tonight. So if anybody's bored, go and make yourself a cup of tea and come back to something that might interest you later. But first of all, let me just talk about the bag. So John, if you want to just get a little bit closer, okay? So we have the Russian piping tips. Now, what is the difference between Nifty Nozzles and the Russian piping tips? It's very, very simple. The Russian piping tips, Nifty Nozzles Russian piping tips, are the genuine nozzles. They're designs that have been made by Alexander Lebedev, who's in Russia, and he is my partner. And between him, myself and Laura, we have designed lots of designs, and we are the originators of the nozzles. If they're not Nifty Nozzles, they're actually a Chinese copy. And I get upset about that because we worked very hard to get these nozzles for you. And it's really upsetting to see that people just steal our designs and sell them on and make a profit without actually giving us any sort of commission or percentage or even just a little something. They just, flood the market with their Chinese copies. If you've got any of those, I'm not going to tell you they don't work. I don't know whether they work or not. But what I will tell you is all our nozzles have Nifty Nozzles on the side with the number of the actual nozzle which it relates to, and it also has Tulip Russian on. Tulip is not the name of the flower, it's actually the name of Alexander's company. So don't think like this is a tulip nozzle and then wonder why all your nozzles have got tulip on, which I know a few people have done. I'm actually going to change the website around later on in the week, and I'm going to put all the nozzles on in number order, because I know a lot of you want to check which nozzle you've got, and then rather than searching through all the names of them, because they all have the name and then they have the number and then it says L or XL. So I'm going to change it this week, and I'm going to put the number first, then the name, and Nifty Nozzles. So let's go back to cutting the bag. So very simply, when you're popping your nozzle into the bag, if John comes back again, so when popping your nozzle into the bag, push your nozzle down and then just give it a little snip there. So just so it's just in line with your nozzle. And then push your nozzle back and let's just give it a quick cut. And then your nozzle should just pop out. And the reason you want to keep the nozzle just on the tip of the bag is when you put your buttercream in, if your buttercream's too hard, it will force the nozzle out. Now, I've done one here. You definitely don't want, I don't know whether John can actually see that. Can you see that, John? Okay, you definitely do not want your piping bag like that, because what will happen is you will only get a couple of squeezes out before it actually pops out. So definitely don't do that, yeah? So I don't know whether I'm going to use all these nozzles tonight, but I've just got a few of them ready. So let's do the cling film method. Who actually used that last week? Because I know lots of you have sent me pictures of all the things that you've done. And it is, pardon?
We've got a question saying, have the nozzles always had tulip on them? I don't think they have, the originals didn't.
No, they haven't. The original nozzles didn't actually have anything on them, but I'm just waiting for a supply to arrive, because they originally came with a soldered top, so it had a welded top on, so they actually had nothing. And then Alexander put on his nozzles WST, which stood for Workshop Tulip, and he has since upgraded then to Tulip Russian, and we had Nifty Nozzles. So it used to be WST, standing for Workshop Tulip, but he's now just rebranded himself as Tulip. So as long as you've got WST, Tulip and Nifty Nozzles on, our name wasn't on them at first, but they've been on them now for the last 12 months. Yeah. So here we go, cling film method. So I'm just going to make our first one, and all you do is get your buttercream. The recipe is on the page. So for the cling film, all you're going to do is put your buttercream on, and you can see how lovely and soft that buttercream is. Okay, I do hear people say that your buttercream must be really firm. It really mustn't be really firm at all. If you make it too firm and it's hard to squeeze, then your hand is going to shake. Your hand is going to shake, and it's just going to pop the nozzle out of the bag. So we're just going to put our second colour on. Really very easy, this. And loads of you ladies have really liked it. So I'll just put the second colour on. I'm just going to make this one a tulip and white, a purple and white one. And the colour I've used for this is Violet Colour Splash. You know I'm a massive big fan of the Colour Splash range. It's a gel colouring, not a liquid colouring. So John, are you ready again? Look over here. So all you're going to do now, so you pick your cling film up, and all you're going to do now is roll it over. So you roll it over so each side meets there. Yeah. So roll it over, just like a little sausage. And I'm going to roll it over a bit more. Don't overfill your bags. That's the other thing some of you ladies have problems with, you overfill your bags. So we're just going to do that. So that's sausage number 1, we'll call it. Yeah, we'll decide which nozzle that one's going into. So that one can go over there. And then we're going to triple tone one. And triple toning is even easier. John's just showing you a few things that we've got for sale, okay? The Colour Splash I've always got for sale. We do a massive range, 29 colours, they're fabulous. I brought in this new cake knife from Nordic Ware. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's actually on sale. Please don't ask me how much it is because I just can't remember. And I also brought in the new little spatula that goes with it as well. So they're lovely, but that cake knife, I will tell you, it's fantastic. It's got a great easy hold handle. So really very easy to hold. Yeah. So that one's there. And believe it or not, these are Nordic Ware spatulas and they come in a set of 4. So you get these 4 pretty colours, yeah? And they come in a set of 4 and they make a great bowl scraper as well. So they're good for crumb coating your cakes with. They make a great bowl scraper and stirring in. And if you're wondering what this is, FMN have brought out the easiest rose, the smallest easiest rose and the carnation, and they've now just brought out the easy peony. Now I've not popped it on the website yet, but I will do it. It'll be on by tomorrow, and next week that's what I'm going to demo to you. I'm actually going to show you how to make one of those. I'm going to give it a go with this Squire's sugar paste, and I'm also going to use the Saraceno modelling paste. So we'll do a couple of those next week. And I don't know what else I'm going to do next week, but I know we're definitely going to do those. Yeah? So let's get back to this triple toning. So we've got sausage number 1, and I need my spatula. And I'm going to do this peach one. So here we go. So I'm going to do this lovely peach one now. And it doesn't have to be too thick, the buttercream. So let's just do this here. Just make it into a square though, that's all you've got to do really, just make it into a nice square. So all of you, put your hands up who actually had a go at doing it this way last week, because I think a lot of you have found it a lot easier. So John, how many people have we got who said that they've done it that way?
Oh, lots.
Lots? He's taking the mickey. I never know whether John's winding me up, you know, sometimes when he says things.
There's a time delay, so no. Oh yes, we have.
Okay. Yeah, we always forget.
Jenny has done it.
Okay, is that Jenny Jones?
No, Jenny Howard.
Oh, Jenny Howard. Oh, yes. Our Jen?
Yes.
Oh, I saw what she put on Facebook tonight. Great. So this is the second coat. And then we're going to go in with the lemon right in the middle. I'll just put that in the middle. So you can see what I've done there. The bottom coat's just a bit larger, then with the pink, and then the lemon is in the middle. So just push that on. Yeah, well, John and I are always working 30 seconds behind you guys, so we don't get to see all your comments till about 30 seconds after you've asked. So again, we're going to roll over. So I'll just bring that over there so John can see it better. I don't actually. I know I'm absolutely useless, aren't I? But you know what? It only came in this week, and I just had it photographed. So it'll be on there. It'll probably be around about the same price as the other ones. But I need to see how much I paid for it. Okay. So we're just going to roll that over as well.
Oh,
and sausage number 2.
Rob Allen's helping with some prices.
Oh right. Well, Rob, you won't find the peony cutter on there because I've not put it on yet. But in fairness, we won't be any dearer than anybody else, so we will price match any other company. Yeah. So there's that one. So that there is double toning and triple tone, the cling film method. So we'll go back to those in a minute. Now, when I'm using a nozzle for double toning or triple toning, I like to use some nozzles for them and some not. So for this one here, this tulip one, this is the 6-petal tulip. Okay, it's a beautiful one, this one. And I'm actually going to use, so if we look at this, John. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to cut off the end. Now do be careful when you're cutting. Try and cut nice and neat, because last week I did have a little bit of a problem with one of my nozzles. It was coming out a little bit funny, and it was simply because I hadn't cut the bag properly and the cling film had got stuck. So you can see now the end that I've cut it, and let's just give that a squeeze. So is that coming out? Let's just see.
Yep.
There we go. So I'll just give that a squeeze into the pot here, just to make sure that's coming out. There you go. So we've got the 3 colours there, so we're ready to go with that one. Let's get that one out of the way. And then for this is the Pinwheel one. It's a great one, this one. I'm going to use the lilac for this one. Let's get that rubbish out of the way there. That can go in there. There we go. Now, when we've got a nozzle that's all the same, okay, so when I say all the same, that one there has got all the same pattern and this one's different. So when it's the same, I will use, like the roses and those, I will use just one block colour because I actually think the flower looks nicer, okay? But when I see that it's got some extra little bits inside, like this one, or this one, that's when I will triple tone or double tone. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to do these two. Yeah, so this one here is called the Night Jasmine, and it is one of my favourites at the moment. So if you just want to pop up here. So for the Night Jasmine, this is what we're going to do. Now this is the way I prefer to do it because I find it easier, but I know some of you do struggle. So I put in the buttercream. So I put the bag right over my hand. So can you see the bag is right over my hand? And I open the bag up and I put the buttercream in and I spread it all round with my palette knife. So let's just get a bit more. I know I'm always coming out of John's focus. Am I there for you, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So we'll just do a nice coat all the way round. It doesn't have to be really neat, but just try and get a nice coat. And on this one, I'm just going to pop in the yellow. So again, in goes the yellow. So I'm just going to put a nice big blob in the middle for the yellow. There we go. And that is your double toning. Really, I find that really easy rather than messing around with the cling film. But I know that some of you ladies do get a bit stressed out with it. So let's do that there. So we're ready to go. And then this one we're going to triple tone.
What size of bag do you use?
Right, I only use small piping bags. We do sell them on our website. And I don't use large piping bags simply because you will see that I've got no more than a handful in my hand there. Sorry about the colouring on my hands. I only like to have a handful at a time. I think that's more than enough. I never really like those big piping bags so that they're really full and I'm having to dangle it over my arm. So it's really up to you what you're very comfortable with. So we're going to go again now with this one. I'm going to triple tone, okay? So this one here now, let me just mix that colour in that I've mixed in before.
Has your icing been in the fridge?
No. Today I've made the buttercream without condensed milk and without any liquid at all. It's actually really soft. I went up to Scotland over the weekend and I went to a store called Rejects. To be fair, don't be put off by the name of the store. It was like walking into John Lewis's. The store is absolutely fabulous. But the history of it is many years ago, it was called Rejects because that's what it used to sell. But because the locals know it so well, as it's changed its product line and upgraded, it still kept the name. But I did a demo up there on Saturday, and I have to tell you, my buttercream would not stop melting. And I've seen all of you all over Facebook having an absolute nightmare with it. Well, you want to be in a showroom with everybody watching. Go on, John, what's just happened there? With everybody watching and having your buttercream melt for fun. Yeah? So melt for fun, which is really, really hard work. So anyhow, so we've put a thin coat around the outside of the bag there. So let me just get the second coat. So So we're going to put our second coat in, and again I find it really very easy. Who uses this method and finds it easy? So have we had many people join us tonight, John?
We've got 444 people online at the moment.
Fantastic. So like I say, this is the method that I prefer. So we've done the orange on the outside, and we've got the mauve colour on the inside, on the second coat. And you do that second coat just a bit thicker. Yeah. So I'm just going to get the pink here. I haven't got much of it left. I've got a bit of white here, so let's make a bit more pink. You'll notice we've got no music on in the background, so it's just me and John. The reason I haven't got music on, I don't know whether I'm winning the battle here. I've got people who want music on, they're telling me to turn it up. I've got people who want music off. So I've decided tonight to not even bother with it. So I'm just going to put this pink together. So I've got a nice amount there. Can you see how nice and smooth this is? It's so easy. It shouldn't be hard work when you're mixing your buttercream. It should be nice and smooth, just like a really nice paste. So I'm just going to add a little bit more pink to it. 1 second. Right, okay then, no worries. So, John tells me our iPad is a little bit low on battery, so I'm just passing in the extension lead, because the last thing we need, I thought I'd actually charged the iPad up today. So is that pinged on charging? John, should I look up here? I can't see anything.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Good. I could see that he was going into meltdown for a minute. I couldn't quite work what it was. So there we go. We've got that lovely pink colour. Nice and smooth. So let's go back to my bag again. So we're just doing this one as the triple tone. And just get a nice big blob of that. And to just pull it off, just put your thumb on it. That's what you do. Push that down. Put your thumb on. There you go.
Louise can hear you and she's got the volume off.
Ha, funny Louise.
That's because we've got the door open.
We've got the door open. Is that Louise Bramlow? Well, but Louise, you've just dropped one now, haven't you? Because Louise came to see me this week, and she has promised that she is going to come on Facebook Live and make you a drip cake. So, now that Louise has made everyone aware that she's here, shout out those of you who want to know how to make a drip cake with meringue kisses using our flavoured icing sugars. So all of those who want to see Louise do that, get those thumbs, love hearts and likes up, and let's get her booking a date very, very soon. Just get this out of the way.
Yep, she's up for it.
She's up for it?
Yeah, lots of people want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, Louise. That's what happens when you stick in there. Right, so what else have we got here now? So we've got 4 bags. We've got this one. And I am going to use the carnation, I think. So no, I'm not going to use that one actually. What have I got there now? Here we go. Sorry guys, I just need to make another colour up. 1 minute. I haven't made enough buttercream, so I'm just going to have to mix this together. So, you know how it is. So I usually have far too much buttercream, and tonight I was being stingy. So I was being stingy and thinking, you know what, I'll have enough here, and I haven't. Better.
Karen has asked, is there a way to catch up on past live feeds?
Yes, all the past live feeds, Karen, are actually on our website. So if you go to our website, sugarandcrumbs.co.uk, press videos, and Laura put them all up there for me a couple of weeks ago. So they're all there. I'm not sure whether you can comment on them, or the only other way to do is to go to our Facebook page, go to photos and videos, and you can catch them there as well.
They're on YouTube as well.
Oh yeah, they're on YouTube as well. So, here we go with the buttercream. So let's get our giant cupcake.
What's the best butter to use for the buttercream?
Right, okay. I only use cheap value buttercream. I don't use anything else, just cheap value buttercream. I use cheap value butter. Okay, the one thing I don't use is, I don't use the baking butter. I used Willow the other week, and I have to say it was my worst nightmare. It's great for baking with, but for making buttercream, it was just so soft, it was running all over the place. And I definitely do not use margarine for buttercream. I know people like margarine, and we had Jackie on here the other week who's a massive big fan of it, but you know, I'm a great believer that buttercream is made with butter. And especially when you're using the Nifty Nozzles, because margarine stays very, very soft and it doesn't firm up enough for the nozzles. So I would always use butter. A lady did ask me, could she use Anchor? I wouldn't use Anchor, it's too strong. So I think now we are ready. I'll just get some jam out of the fridge. There we go. So, giant cupcake. So here's our giant cupcake. Now, I've used the Wilton tin, which I showed you with Jackie the other week. Now, some of you may have got an email off Caroline, and I remember using a 12-ounce mix, Victoria sponge mix, and I had enough over to make some cupcakes. But this time, tonight, I just made a 10-ounce mix, and it was perfect. It was exactly enough. So I've posted the recipe up as well. I pinned it to the top of the page, so it's a 10-ounce Victoria sponge mix. And all I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a little bit of buttercream. So John, are you back in?
How long has that been baked for?
That was baked for 50 minutes in the oven on 170. And it's quite lovely and moist, but you can feel how lovely and moist it is. Yeah. So there it is, just a little bit of butter on there. Now
I use a release spray.
Pardon? I used the release spray, good, I'm glad you said. I use Cake Star Release. I do use Wilton Release and the PME Cake Release. The reason I like the Cake Star Release is simply because it's got this little spray bit. And it makes my life a lot easier because I can spray in all the creases and make sure that everything is covered. So we do that in two sizes. This one is the 400ml and we do the 100ml. Yeah, and I think the 400ml is £9.99 and 100ml is like £3 something. But again, it's on our website, so I love it. It's one of my favourites. So we're back to our cake. So I've just put a little bit of buttercream on there. Now, I'm not going to put buttercream on the cake, okay? All I'm going to do is put jam. You can, if you want, slice this base again in half and jam that as well so that you've got a layer here and a layer there. But I'm actually not going to decorate the bottom of the cake. Jackie did it a few weeks ago with shortbread biscuits, not shortbread biscuits, chocolate fingers, which look fantastic. And I know that some people do make a chocolate outer case for it. I'm not very good at doing that myself. When I say I'm not very good, I've actually never had a go at doing it, so it's something I need to practice. But I didn't think today was the day.
What goes into a 10-ounce mix?
So a 10-ounce mix is really very easy. Take you back to school, you used to have to do a 4-ounce cake mix, but I'll just go through it. So I use 10 ounces of margarine. I always use Stork. I've always used Stork. I can't comment on any other one because I don't use anything else. So Stork, I'm a Stork girl. So it's 10 ounces of stalk margarine and 10 ounces of caster sugar. Now the caster sugar, I'm not particularly bothered which supermarket I get that from. So I just make sure that the caster sugar is not lumpy. So make sure any lumps in it are bashed out. So I put that into the mixing bowl and I really give that a good mix until the mix is really white in colour. Because stalk margarine is quite yellow. So when I mix it with the sugar, I really beat the living daylights out of it until it's nearly white. And because it's a 10 ounce mix, that's 10 ounces of margarine, 10 ounces of caster sugar, you need half eggs. So if you use an 8 ounce mix, it's 4 eggs. 6 ounce mix, 3 eggs. But because we had a 10 ounce mix, it's 5 eggs. I use large eggs. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but it works for me and I've always used large eggs. I've never used medium or small. I've always used large eggs and I don't weigh my eggs either. I just nip off to the supermarket and I only ever buy free range eggs as well. Personal choice, I've just got this thing that I don't want to buy caged eggs. So free range for me. I don't buy organic, but I just feel quite happy that it's free range eggs. So I use 5 of those and I add those eggs one at a time, okay? And I beat them in until they're well beaten. So the mix is going and I just beat in 1 egg, just drop it in one at a time. Once it's beaten in, what are you laughing at? So I think I'm out of breath. So I beat them in one at a time until all 5 eggs are incorporated. At that point, I then add some flavouring and I've added vanilla essence. I add 3 teaspoons of vanilla essence. Technically, it should be 2.5 teaspoons because it's 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence per 4 ounces. But I really like a good vanilla taste to it. So I've added 3 teaspoons of vanilla essence. And again, I really mix that in well. And then on the side, I add 10 ounces of self-raising flour. Now, self-raising flour, you should fold in. You should never mix your cake mix with your flour. So all I've done is drop the flour in and I've actually folded it all in. Don't beat it in. Don't paddle it around like that, just fold it in, keep folding it in until it's all in. And then I just divided it so that the tin, this tin was up to here, so about 2/3 full, and this one came up to this line here, this top line. So 2/3 in each one. I popped them in the oven's behind me, 170, and they were in there for 50 minutes. And they were in there for 50 minutes because I said to John, so sorry, no, they weren't in there for 50 minutes. They were in there for 40 minutes because I said to John, I'm just going to go and check after half an hour, see how they're doing. And we've been looking after our granddaughter this afternoon and I forgot the time. So I had to leg it in here as fast as grease lightning to check that it was fine. So they were actually in here 40 minutes. So let me get that right. It wasn't 50, it was 40 minutes. And this is the cake, yeah? So here we go. So all I've done is I've just jammed it together. I'm not putting buttercream on it simply because there's one hell of a lot of buttercream going to go on top of this cake. So let me get rid of this rack. So is everybody needing anything at the moment? Do you need to ask me anything at all?
How do you make sure that the cake doesn't dough up and crack?
Well, mine didn't. So I did.
Lower temperature for longer.
Pardon?
Lower temperature for
Yeah,
longer.
you can do it on a lower temperature for longer. You've got to remember, everybody's oven is different. Mine are fairly new ovens, so you know they do cook fast. I did used to bake at 160, but recently I have started baking at 170. Don't know why. Do I think it's not hard? It's quite moist and soft. And whoever gets this tomorrow, I'm sure they're going to be telling me what they think of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get some buttercream, okay, and we are just going to crumb coat the cake, just the top of the cake. Like I say, I showed you this when I did the layered cake, and how good are all those layer cakes that you're all doing? They're great, those tins, aren't they? So, so they just really do make life easy. So,
What gas mark would that be?
Gas mark. I've got to be honest, I don't know anything about gas, so you'll have to Google it. I mean, I will Google it for you afterwards, but I can't Google it now. Or if anybody who is watching wants to be kind enough and Google 170 for a gas mark, and then let us know the answer, that would be great, but I have no idea. Do you know I've not had a gas oven since I was a young girl? I was always brought up with gas, and it was something I wouldn't swap to. And then I got into my 20s and got my first fan assisted oven, and I've actually just never gone back. And I was so against having a fan assisted oven. And it's funny, isn't it, how you change? You know, I would only drive a manual car, and then once I got an automatic, never gone back. So there we go. So we crumb coated the cake, just rough crumb coated it, doesn't need to be neat. So we've gone all the way around. So I'm making sure that I'm using all this week's buttercream. So I do classes, by the way, and I do them once a month. I've got a class on Sunday with 2 ladies coming. I've only got 2 ladies this week, so if anybody wants to pop up to Stockport, I've still got 2 spaces available for Sunday. So they're on our website, they're £99, and we do a lot in class. So if anybody's been to one of my classes and they're watching tonight, I'm sure they'll tell you what we do. And we face all the problems and difficulties, and we overcome them all. It's good to have them in class, because then you know how to deal with it when you get home. So here we go with the nozzles. So let me just show you what most people do by mistake. So I'll just show you on here. So just think that this is my cake, your cake, and I'll just quickly show you what everybody does. So they get their nozzle. We're zooming in there, John. So they get their nozzle, and the first thing that they want to do is they keep looking at it. So they keep looking at that, and then they keep coming out here. And I think people think, and you can sort of wave your hands who will agree with me on this, how many of you expect that flour to jump out and land on there and stick? Because a lot of you do that. Or a lot of you dangle, and you keep doing that, and you dangle, and then you start telling, oh, it won't work. And it won't work because you actually haven't. So who's done that before? You actually haven't sat it on the cake. So does anybody recognise doing this? I'll just cut that off. So John will give me some updates as they start to come through. So what you have to do is, though, you must stick your nozzle onto the cake. So remember, this is our pretend cake. And if you're not sure if it's stuck on, let go. So I'm holding my hands up in the air. So just let go. Make sure, there you go, it's sat on the cake, it's not dangling. And then you squeeze, you form a base, up 1 centimetre, release, and you're off. Did you get that? So we're going to do it again. So we'll squeeze onto the cake, up 1 centimetre, relax, and you're off. And you're off. And that's how easy it is. What people do is, and it was done on Saturday as well in class, so they do this, and then they do this pumping action, and then they do that. And then we have a couple of these bad boys, and then we get these, oh, best shove it down again, bad boys. Does anybody recognise any of these? Are you still doing this? Yeah? Or we get that. Or, let me just turn this over, or we get those. And I get all these types of messages saying, they don't work, Carol. And I can tell just by looking at your flour exactly what you've done. So if anybody's got them like that, you're right, they're not working. But that's nothing to do with the nozzle, that's called user error. So, who's got some of those? Nobody's admitting to it. Oh, you've all been taught well over these last few weeks. You're all doing it right. Who used to do them like that? So, John, is anyone owning up?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Good.
Says Jimmy.
So that's good. Okay. So let's just scrape that off there. So what we're going to do with this cake is, very simply, we're just going to go randomly round using them. So it's not nice and neat, so we're just going to go on, up and off, up and off, up and off. I'm going to put 2 there, squeeze, up and off. And this is the one that I actually filled in the bag by myself. So I triple tone this just using the hand method. Yeah. And then we'll get one of these that I've used the cling film method with. So we'll use this purple and white one here. So purple and white one. So this one here, I like this one. It's called the Pinwheel. And this isn't a flower, it just gives this nice, lovely swirly effect. So we'll just put some of those there. And this is Pinwheel. Yeah. And this doesn't look as though it's touching the cake, but this is risen. Can you see? It's got a point on it. So it is touching the cake. So I'm just thinking then that you'll think I'm not touching it, but it is actually touching the cake. So let's just put a couple of here. And I'll put a couple there. This is such an easy cake to decorate. So if anybody ever phones you in a rush and goes, I need a cake and I need one as an emergency now, you can actually know you can bake your cake very quickly. Get your buttercream done and you can have it delivered in a few hours. Now I love this flower. Again, this is one I've two-toned myself. This one's called Night Jasmine. So let's just put a few of those in there. Am I right to spin round, John? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here we go. So just onto there. Onto there. Let's put a few of these on. And all you're going to do is just keep filling up this cake. All randomly. You can use all the same nozzles if you want to. They also make great baby shower cakes as well. So you know what you could do with this cake is you could hollow out the middle and put in some popping candy for the colour of the baby. Or you could put in the coloured buttercream. So they make great baby shower cakes. Or if they already know what the baby is, you could do pink and white flowers or baby blue and white flowers all over. So let's just do that. That one there. So what bag have we not used? Not use this one. So let's just get this in here. Try and put all your flowers as close as you can together. So as you can see, I don't know whether John can actually catch on the side there what I'm doing. Are you able to catch on the side what I'm doing, John? Yeah. Why don't you sit down? A bit better. John, pull the chair out and sit down. John always suffers with a bad back on a Monday night when he's leaning over. So let me just wait while he grabs a chair, but I'll grab a chair for him. Hang on a second. There we go, love.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me just pop in a few more of these tulips here now. So I'm just going to use this tulip here. This is a 6-petal tulip that we're using. Just going to fill that in. You know, how easy is it to decorate with these cakes? So have I got any more questions that anybody wants to ask?
People are asking what are the name of each of the nozzles that you're using.
Right, well the nozzles, it's very difficult because some people want the name of the nozzles on the side of the nozzle, and we can't do that. And to be fair, no supplier supplies nozzles.
People want to know what each of those flowers are.
Oh, are they? Right, okay then. So well, the flower that I'm using first, this one that I'm using at the moment. So if you've got this effect, and this is one of the very first designs that came out, and this is called the 6-petal tulip.
Which flower is that made?
Yeah, and that one there is made, let me just see. It's made this one here. Yeah. So let me get some picture of my hands. So that's made that one there. And then what I have done is I've used Pinwheel for this one. So that one there is called Pinwheel. So this swirly effect here is Pinwheel. And then I've used Night Jasmine for this one. So let me just show you the Night Jasmine. And the night jasmine is here. Can you see this one? This effect up here. That's night jasmine. So we've got night jasmine, pinwheel, summer tulip. This one is rose cup. It's better there, the rose cup. And then we've got the tulip, 6-petal tulip. So I just need to dig one of these flowers off because I'll just show you what I've done, because I was talking and I was going a little bit fast. So if you ever get this, okay, I'll tell you what that is, why that's happened. And that is because I didn't rest the whole nozzle on top of the cake. So when you see that you're missing a centre, it really is because you didn't sit the nozzle on top of the cake and it didn't attach. So the buttercream hasn't attached there. So don't worry, we're not going to ruin this cake. What we're actually going to do is, we're just going to pull it out. And stick it in the bowl. That's the other good thing with these. And stick it in the bowl. Push that one down. And we're going to get our 6-petal tulip again. And we're just going to go in there. So we're going to squeeze it onto the cake. And we're off. And can you see it? He's all there now. Yeah? So that cake there is pretty much covered all over. And then you do have some little gaps. So what I've prepared is, I've prepared the 224, and a lot of you got this 224 tip. So a lot of you, I recommend for you to buy the 352, the 104, and it's got the 103 and a 224 flower drop nozzle. These are made by Wilton and they come on a strip of 4 tips. They're on our website. So some of you might wonder what to do with this. And inside this, it's got a metal bar, just a very thin metal bar. It doesn't mean it's broken. It's to help create the effect that it's going to do now. So when you see these little gaps, so let me just take the glasses off. So see, we've got a little gap there. You see that, John? So we'll just see that little gap there. We can't fit a nozzle in, so we're just going to squeeze that little flower in there. And there's another one. So we'll squeeze a little flower in up there. You see it? Yeah. And then we're just going to squeeze in. Just going to go in. And John might be able to... We won't fill in everyone because we need to put a couple of leaves in some of them. So I'm just going to fill in some of the gaps here, and it just makes sure that you can't see anything, which is really good. I'll just carry on popping around here with this. So I'll see if you can see it again. I'm just going to put one in there. I'll put one in there. Put one in there. So it's just a little in flower, and it's called the 224 Wilton. We sell them individually. And we sell them on the sets. And I'm always saying to you girls, if you're using Nifty Nozzles, you do need little infill flowers. And you do need your leaf tip. And as you all know, the 352 is my favourite. So I recommend that. And then let's just do this one here. So there you go. So we've filled all that in with little pink flowers. And then we're going to get my favourite leaf one. I have added a bit of pink, so let's just do this again. Because every week people ask me about leaf tips. So John, I'm just going to lean down on here. So can you see this? So let me explain with the leaf tip. This is the 352 Wilton, yeah? Now, if you hold it that way, it's the wrong way. You need to hold it this way. So I'll try and get sideways. You need to hold it this way, okay? And you need to hold it at that angle. So don't lie it down and don't stand it up, yeah? Just hold it. What would you say? Is that 90 degrees, would you say?
45.
45, there you go. You can tell John went to university and I went to secondary mod. So there you go, anyhow. So you just hold it there, and we're going to do a little leaf, and what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze a small base, small body, stop squeezing. Oh, wait a minute. Let me just get some buttercream on my palette there. Just 1 second. Get something to touch to. Do this again. I am trying to do it at a funny angle as well so that you can see. So we're going to do a small base, so squeeze, attach it to the centre, and there's your first leaf. So I'll just do it this way so that you can see it. So we're going to squeeze. Yeah, and you must stop squeezing when you come to pull it off. So you just squeeze a small base, small body, stop squeezing. Then when you want to go a bit bigger, okay, again at this angle, 45 as John tells me. So we squeeze a bigger base and a bigger centre, stop squeezing, and you're off. So bigger base, bigger centre, stop squeezing, and you come off. When I say the bigger base, you've got to squeeze it so that it spills out wider and wider. And when you get that width, you slowly come up and do a centre, okay? Keep squeezing. And then when you stop, stop squeezing, okay? So I think somebody must have just asked, what colour am I using today? And John is very cleverly pulled up the Colour Splash leaf colour. That's what I've used today. Yep. I love all the greens in the Colour Splash range. So let me just do a bigger leaf now. So we're going to do a bigger one. So I'll just do it sideways first. So this is a really giant one, this one. So we're going to form a massive, 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 massive base, a bigger centre, and we're going to pull off. Yeah? So I'll just do that down there so you can see it. So a massive base. And we start building up the centre, stop squeezing, and we're off. I tend to get a lot of you ladies doing this. Who's still doing them? Okay, or I get a lot of ladies, let's just do it sideways like this. They do that, they get the base and then they keep doing that and they wonder why the leaves won't stay. So they do that and it's because you keep squeezing. So you've got to learn to squeeze, stop, pull off. It's all about stopping, but you don't. You keep squeezing and then you keep pulling it off like that and it won't hold. So do we like that, ladies? Because I know a lot of you asked me about it. Yeah? So how many people are enjoying that, John?
Loads.
So let's go back to this cake now because I always think it's the add-ons that really do pull the cake together. So I'm going to have to fill this bag up a few times. So let's go in here now. So I've left a couple of gaps for me to put in some leaves. So let's just do a couple of leaves there. I'll try and get round. In fact, let me just walk round here so John can see. So let's just put in a couple of leaves. Just make them a bit pointy when you're going inside like this. So it hasn't taken long to do this cake at all. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to do the edge. So for the edge, I'm just going to go in at the side and we're just going to do that. Sorry if you can hear me breathing. That's why I like to have the music on so that you don't hear me. And all I'm doing is just keep squeezing those. I'm asthmatic, so I have a really big wheeze going on. So sorry about that, guys. And if you've gone over with your nozzle there, just dig into your flour and squeeze there. Now. So who's going to have a go at making one of these then? These make a great celebration cake. Like I say, birthday, baby shower cakes. They're great for grandmas. Mums love them. You can do them all one colour. You'll see that I've got yellow coming out. I two-toned this before you all joined me tonight. So we're just going to go in there. And then what I'm going to do here now, well, let's just do a couple of more little leaves up there. So what I'm just going to do there, I'm just going to do a nice big leaf there. And a big leaf. Yeah. I'm going to get my night jasmine because it's my favourite one. It's always the last one you pick up, isn't it? So I'm just going to get the night jasmine and I'm just going to stick that there. Here's the last bit of green. There. And then I'm going to just let me go fill up my bag again, guys. I'll be back with you in a second. So, how many of you are going to give this a go? I know a lot of you said last week that you had the giant cupcake tin. A couple of weeks ago when Jackie was here, you had the giant cupcake tin. So you should give it a go. I'll just squeeze a bit of this in. So. I'm just filling up my bag again. I wondered where it disappeared to. If you heard that squirt, then that's what I was looking for, to get the air out. So we've put a flower on there, so let me just see. Are we in focus there, John? So we're just going to do a nice leaf there, nice leaf there. I'm going to get this one on the spring tulip. I'm going to put that on there. Stick one of those on. And stick one of those on there. Then I'm just going to put the leaf there. Let's come out a bit. And there we are. And there we are. And that is my giant cupcake using Nifty Nozzles. And do you like it? Is that good? So let me get myself a little cake stand. How are we doing, John? Has that gone down well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyone pop that into your box, and I'm sure whoever receives that off you are going to be highly chuffed. So there you go. That way. So, just before we finish, I'm just going to quickly run over doing a cupcake. So, if some of you don't want to do a giant cupcake, let me just quickly show you how to do one of these. And I just want to talk about something else as well. I mentioned it last week, and a lady popped on called Debbie and asked me would I mention doing the cupcake for Alzheimer's. So there's if you want to do a donation for Alzheimer's, there's a National Cupcake Day. Now you can actually go and register with them, okay? Register with them yourself. You get this fabulous pack, and in the pack you get some balloons, some little cake sticks. You get loads of games and stuff like that if you want to pull the crowd together. That's your little box for your table, and you get this little thing as well. So we're actually going to do the National Cupcake Day, and we've joined the Just Giving Fund for Sugar and Crumbs. So anybody who wants to join us, you don't have to do anything really big, to be fair, so don't panic and think, oh, I've got to do this massive event. You know what, you could just make this cake, or a cake like Jackie made, or just some cupcakes, take them into work and sell them, because if you tell everybody what you're selling them for, and it's a donation for the Alzheimer's, you know, every little bit helps. So even if you only raise £10, £15, £20, all those little amounts really do help. So don't panic and think, oh my God, I've got to make 100 cupcakes and I've got to sell them. That's not what it's all about. You know, it's just making a few, or inviting a few of your friends around one afternoon or one evening. So National Cupcake Day is June the 15th. It's a Thursday. You don't have to do it on that day. I'm going to do ours on that day. So I plan to make a load of cupcakes and some biscuits, shortbreads, other bits of things. And I'm going to sell them at £2 a cake with a cup of tea. It'd be a nice way to catch up with people and involve everybody in just a bit of fun for a change. And I'll be doing the same for the Macmillan one in September. So, so anybody who wants to join us on that, when you place your next order, all you need to do is say that I'm doing Alzheimer's Day, Alzheimer's Cupcake Day, can I claim my 2 free bags of icing sugar? So John and I are donating 2 free bags of icing sugar, 500 grams at each bag, for anybody who's doing National Cupcake Day for the Alzheimer's Society. Please only claim them if you are genuinely doing the Cupcake Day. If you just want 2 free bags of icing sugar, I'd rather be honest and tell me, and I'm going to say no. But if you are going to do it for this worthy cause, then John and I, that's our donation. We're going to give you 2 free bags in your order, and all you have to do is say which ones that you want. And how you do that is when you place your order, there's a little delivery notes section. You just write on there, Cupcake Day, Alzheimer's. If you can't spell it, do you know what, it doesn't matter. Just say I'm joining the Cupcake Day, and just name the 2 flavours that you want. When it comes to giving the money, you can either put it into the Alzheimer's Society yourself, or you can join our Just Giving page. We've set up Sugar and Crumbs Just Giving page. Somebody mentioned last week there's a 20% fee. There isn't. It's a very small fee. Is it 3%, John? No, it's 5%. Ham signals. So it's 5% that Just Giving take, which isn't a lot really with all the work that they have to do. But if you want to put it all in our fund together, we don't actually touch the money or see the money, just that when we close the account, which we'll close a few days later, we'll close it 1 week later actually, we'll then close it and then it all gets donated straight to the Alzheimer's Society. What we will do is the week after the 15th, once everybody's put in, we will then give out a shout out to all those wonderful people who joined us, and thank you all personally for helping out for that worthy cause. If you don't understand what I'm saying today, just message me on Facebook for more details, and I'll send you my email address and I'll send you some more details on how you can help out. So hopefully you're all going to join us on that little exercise. Yeah, so that's National Cupcake Day. If I seem a bit sad today, I feel as though I'm not my usual happy self, and that's because I'm still a little bit upset what happened in Manchester last week. I can't believe we were all watching, well, I was on Facebook Live doing my catch-up and was all watching that, and then as I put it down and I was making myself a cup of tea after catch-up, my daughter rang me from Australia and told me before I even heard it on the news here. And I don't know, it's given me quite a sad feeling all week. I've not really been my happy, chappy self. So if I do sound a little bit quiet, that's what it is really, okay? So really very sad for those people this time last week. So I'm just going to finish off and decorate a quick cupcake for you. So if John wants to come back over here, and then we'll go through all the things that we've done, and then I'll catch some of you up in catch-up afterwards. So John, are you alright where you are there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm just going to use...
There is a hashtag for that event as well, isn't there?
Is there a hashtag? I don't know.
Someone has asked.
Oh,
But we'll find it and put it on afterwards.
Yeah, John will find it and put it on afterwards. So let me just show you how to do a cupcake quickly. So it's exactly the same process as the giant cupcake. So you're just going to put a little bit of buttercream on. And one of the things is don't crumb coat all your cakes in one go. Okay, just do 1 at a time or 2 at a time once you've built your speed up. Okay, so we're just going to do that. And I'm just going to use this nozzle here. This is the rose cup that I'm going to use. I haven't got much left in this one, but I'm just going to use the rose cup, and I'm just going to pop on that little rose there. And then I'm going to use the 104 Wilton Tip. Now, you use the bulbous end at the bottom, okay, and the thin end at the top. If you do forget, all you need to do, remember, if you ever take a flower apart, the thickest end is always at the bottom and the thinnest end is where the petal is. So we're going to do this. I'm actually going to come down to John's side because one of the ladies in class the other week did say something that made me think that when I'm doing it this way to you guys, it can sometimes seem a little bit confusing. So I'm going to get John to film over my shoulder. So I'll just walk on round and come over that way. It just might help you a little bit more. So John, you ready? It's a good job he's taller than me. So when I'm doing this, all you're doing is, at this angle, So you're just setting it at that angle, okay, and you're just doing half a semicircle. And in that half a semicircle, you're doing another half a semicircle. And you're just going to keep going round and going round and going round and going round. And we've done that once, yeah? And then we're going to tilt it a little bit further back. And we're just going to do it again. It's just semicircles, just slightly tilted. And you do this twice. So I'm hoping that this will make a little bit more sense to you. See how we've got that rose? Now when I've done it, I'm right-handed, so it doesn't matter whether you're right-handed or left-handed, so I've gone like that. But when I do the next bit, I'm going to come this way because I find it easier, okay? So what I'm actually going to do is, I'm going to stick my nozzle in there and I'm going to lift it up. So I'm just going to turn around the other way so that you can see. So it's John focused in there, so I'm just going to go in and I'm going to lift it up. And it's lay down this. So I'm just going to go in, lift up, in, lift up. So I'll try and do it that way. Are you in there, John? Mm-hmm. So we're in and we'll lift up, going all the way round, in, lift up. And then the very last one there, we're going to go in and we're going to drop it on top of the first one. So we're in and we drop it on. And we've just widened the rose. Yeah? So did that help some of you? Was that a bit easier to understand? Yeah? Okay, I'm getting some nods off John, so it must be. So let me come back round here again.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so you'll notice that I've got on the back of here, yeah, great. So you'll notice I've got on the back of here a space. So I'm just going to use the 6-petal tulip, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that on there, squeeze, I'm going to come off. And then I'm going to put in this pinwheel, squeeze, come off. And I'm going to put in the night jasmine, squeeze, come off. And then I'm going to get some berries. So let me just get the other tips. So you know I'm a big fan of the Wilton round, 10 round and the 5 round. It doesn't matter what size rounds you use really, but just make sure, we sell these on the website, we sell them individually and we sell them as a set of 2. I just like these 2 sizes. So your larger size is for your berries, and so we call them berries, and then your little size goes inside the berries so that you can see the colour from it. So let me just show you how they're done. And they just help again, like a little infill. So really very, very nice. So we're just going to put in 3 little berries there. And all you do is you squeeze and make them into a little ball. Okay, and you'll see that they just pull off a little bit. Yeah, now without being rude, call them nipples, which we don't really want. So if you can, try and squeeze it so that they're down. It gets a bit rude, this conversation, when we're in class with our balls and nipples, because I'm actually just doing little balls that we end up with little nipples on, and that's not what we want. So let me just go around here. And then you'll see how these come together in a minute. So then you get your number 5, and I've used yellow because I was doing a yellow flower. So just where that's pulled out, push it in and just fill up that little ball with the yellow. And can you see now how it's turned into like a little berry? Yeah. Now they don't have to be yellow berries, they can be white, purple, red, whatever the colour theme is. But just go inside and squeeze it. So we'll put a few of these on. I've got a wedding to do in August. I've got to talk to the bride, but it's my wedding gift because I don't make cakes to sale. So it's my wedding gift. I agreed to do the Nifty Nozzles wedding cake and I don't know, 60 to 100 cupcakes. I'm praying she only wants 60 because the wedding's in August and I just know it's going to be a hot day. I feel it coming. So, and then you get your leaf nozzle. There's quite a lot of buttercream on this cake, but doesn't it look effective? So you get your leaf nozzle. I'm going to do a little leaf there. So I'm just going to squeeze just enough so it peeps out. I'm just going to do a little one there. And then I'm going to do a big one here. So you'll see me squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then I'm going to go right behind it and do a double leaf. Squeeze, 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 just off centre. I'm going to go bigger, 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 bigger. There you go. And there's our cupcake. So who's actually made some of these? I know some of you have, and I know the ladies in class, when we do class, I always do this one first. So challenge them to the hard ones first, drive them all insane. But I like to get these out of the way because I think they look really lovely. And I love them in all colours. I love them in white, that's my favourite one. So let's go back over here then. Let's move this out of the way. So do we all like that one, yeah? So this is what we've made today. Let's just have a little clear up. So we've done the cling film method for the buttercream. We've done two-toning, triple toning with cling film. We've also done it by holding the bag. This is a very simple recipe, Victoria sponge recipe. It's on the Facebook page. And I've just used a selection of nozzles there. You can use any of the nozzles, you don't have to use these. You can triple tone them, two-tone them, or just do them all in one colour. They look really, really very, very pretty. And I like to leave the base plain, but you can put chocolate fingers on or use a chocolate base if you want to. And there's a little matching cupcake to go with it, with all the little flowers on the back. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Okay, thank you for joining me, and I'm going to go and make myself a quick cup of tea, have a clear up. The time is 9:15, and if anybody wants to join me in about 20 minutes, feel free to come back and say hi, and I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. So that's a goodbye for now. See you next week if I don't see you later. Cheerio.